weekend, there was the first test for at least that side of the agreement. We saw that as soon as things, anyway, as soon as the ceasefire in Lebanon broke, it did not hold between Israel from one side and Hezbollah from the other. The Iranians started also talking again about the Strait of Hormuz, and we saw a decrease in traffic over at least Sunday through the strait. So those are the factors now anyway that are being from one side influencing the market, but on the grander scheme of things, on a big picture side of things, markets seem to have bought into the political process, the diplomatic process that's ongoing in Switzerland. Markets tend to believe that their geopolitical risk premium emanating from the direct hits and the direct security threats that were disallowing tankers to pass through Hormuz, those have gone. And we have now what I would suggest is more of a discount, a trust discount in the process, diplomatic process in Switzerland. Now, what does this mean for prices? We saw that prices right now are trading at around the $79 mark. This obviously tells you, reflects that the prices are more telling a story of buying into diplomacy rather than physical markets themselves. Because up until the moment, we have no clear vision and insight over where does demand stand, specifically in major economies around the world, and also what will the process of refilling the strategic reserves in those countries moving forward. So prices are expected to continue in this range unless there is an anomaly, unless there is a disruptive factor that kind of brings those risks back into the Strait of Hormuz in general, and perhaps reaccounts for the geopolitical risk premium. But for now, it's also about, on the other side, we have the other players in the market, or the market participants that have less to do with what's happening in Switzerland, that also talking about ship owners, and we're talking about buyers. When this trust and when this confidence is built over time, because this trust needs to go beyond the headline. This trust needs to see that there are weeks and weeks of tanker movement, of elevated exports of oil, of gas, of oil products, and what have you. Whenever we reach back to that normal level, and this is something expected to happen at least in the next 30 days, as per the MOU signed, then this is when we will reach a level where the markets and market participants ensure that, or normalize this sense of confidence, and we might see prices even perhaps go lower. But any disruption will definitely bring back the premium very quickly.
All right. Iran also says, Bashar, I could have added a little bit more, but we're short of time. I want to ask as many questions as possible. Iran says, Bashar, that it has secured waivers as far as oil and petrochemical exports is concerned. Now, how quickly can these barrels return to the market? How much pressure could that also put on prices? Ismail Baghai says that discussions were held on the safe passage of ships to the Strait of Hormuz, and that a mechanism, quote unquote, was set up, which is important. What's your take on this?
So I think like half an hour or 45 minutes ago, the OFAC, basically the sanctions arm of the U.S. Treasury, announced a sanctions waiver for the next 60 days on all Iranian oil sales in general. And this is very important on two levels. First, when we go to the physical level, the question of Iranian barrels coming back to the market, this will definitely be bearish for the market. So this will add more pressure on prices, and prices are expected to drop, because those Iranian barrels are supposed to be coupled with more exports from Gulf countries on the other side of the aisle, which are supposed to ramp up their production and ramp up their exports as a result of the decrease in risks through the Strait of Hormuz. So we expect Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and also Iraq to increase their production in the coming days and to increase their exports. And we are seeing signs of that through tanker movements and through what traders are informing us. So this is from one side. From the other, when it comes to Iran ramping up its production, we're talking perhaps about weeks in general. We're talking about perhaps 3, 4, 5 weeks for Iranian crude production to go back to normal levels, or at least pre-war levels, because the Iranians have, in a way, mastered the art of shutting down wells, opening wells, or diversifying the process of bringing down their production from different oil fields as a result of decades of sanctions in general. So I expect them to bring back those barrels in the coming weeks. But obviously, again, this will depend on demand in markets, and it also will depend on the trust that the buyers will have in buying those Iranian barrels. So my personal assessment is that the obvious buyer of the Iranian oil that will come back to the market will be obviously China. It might be India as well to a certain extent. But this 60-day waiver is not enough for the previous main also buyers of Iranian oil, like Japan, like South Korea, to buy into the process and to start buying Iranian oil. Because again, we're talking about a difficult conversation that's happening in Switzerland. We're talking about a difficult mediation process. So no bank in Japan or in South Korea would want to be exposed to a, let's say,
Good afternoon. You're watching Pakistan TV live from Islamabad studios. I am Ali Ahmed with the top stories making the headlines. Let's have a look. Iranian President Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian is due in Pakistan today for high-level talks on bilateral cooperation, regional issues and Islamabad memorandum follow-up at the invitation of the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. As per the Iranian media, President Pezeshkian has left Tehran for Islamabad, leading a high-ranking delegation for talks with senior Pakistani officials. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif says Pakistan